they had already banned out the Kai'Sa, which has kind of been this go-to flex that Insanity has been popping off on, and they also banned out the Tristana themselves.
Yeah.
Alistar and Braum coming out as bans for TSM makes sense. You don't want the Alistar going into the Rell. That's kind of the common pick that we see from most teams, and then the Braum for the Jinx.
Yeah, support pool's being picked off quite a bit with the Rakan in first phase, and then now we're seeing double from TSM side, and they get first pick now that they're on their end. I expect them to go support on 4.
Oh, so okay. So I said it wasn't going to be the Sejuani top for Hauntzer.
Yeah, wow.
It is going to be the Sejuani top for Hauntzer.
Okay.
I'm glad I did call out that it was a possibility,
yeah.
even though I immediately shot it down.
Smart.
Because we have Viego coming out for Bugi, which is also super interesting because obviously when we think of Bugi as a jungler, or at least I think of him as a jungler who really wants to get involved early, who really wants to affect his lanes.
Yeah.
And this is going to be more of a carry potential coming out of Bugi for TSM.
Taking a look at 100 Thieves side, just as they're shoring out their full comp now, they have some poke with the Jayce, but primarily it's kiteback. You have Maokai, Renata already are great support systems within your team where you're just kiting back and trying to create space for the Xayah. Interesting to see the Ksante get locked in, so now we know it's going to be a Jayce mid. Instant Gwen. Gwen being picked up.
As a mid?
Sejuani mid lane. So
Sejuani mid for Insanity, okay.
Mid lane. I love TSM's drafts.
Insanity, man. He, ever since, even when he was like back on IMT, he was known for this kind of stuff where it's like, what is this man going to bring to the mid lane?
It's beautiful to see. Now, this is not the first time we've seen Sejuani mid. It was caps on G2, a little bit of Soligo actually, the split in Challengers League. So we've seen a lot of Sejuani and Bel'Veth, or Sejuani just with a carried jungler. But this now sets up Hauntzer for a great counter matchup top lane. As the game goes on, they can play through sides with him. And just so far, early game for Bugi.
And I'm guessing the Xayah is actually going bot. And this is a bug, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing that too.
All right.
That's on the casters to get.
XU on Dignitas Challengers. It does not surprise me to see him bust out something even more ridiculous for at least 100 Thieves. But man, TSM, they're in their comfort zone and they're keeping 100 Thieves on their toes.
I absolutely love it. I would say the team just has such a nice vibe with Insanity, who's won 4 player of the games in a row. TSM has actually yet to lose a game in the second round robin of the LCS, and it reminds me of an interview that their coach Revan did actually in the week that Ruby was subbed in with, it was over on Digon Esports' YouTube channel, but he was mentioning how Insanity can pretty much just play whatever Revan thinks is cool, which is like, as someone like Revan, who definitely has his own strong opinions on the game, is just so cool. Yeah. Because I would say the majority of mid laners would have a lot of resistance to playing Sejuani mid on stage.
Yeah.
And it gives them so much flexibility in the draft. One final point on the draft as we're getting into the game, TSM are just massive red side enjoyers. So the way side selection works in LCS, for those who aren't familiar, is half of the games, you don't get blue side or red side. Half of the games, you get the choice of blue side or red side. Most teams pick blue by default. TSM has played 12 red side, 2 blue side this whole split.
Wow.
So now 13 red side, 2 blue side, including this game. And it's because of crap like this. Like the fact that they can just pick a Sejuani as soon as they see a Jayce, know that it's going mid, and troll you the whole draft so you don't actually understand where things are, gives them many advantages when they can take advantage.
Yeah, because 100 Thieves, I imagine, were completely fooled thinking, oh, I guess it's Sejuani top. Well, what's good? Oh, I guess we just take the tank mirror matchup. But now they get the advantageous Gwen matchup into the Ksante, and they're already making things happen in the mid lane. Level 1 scrap between Insanity and Quid. Bugi comes in with a little bit of more poke, and that guarantees proud for the Insanity.
Yeah, I have to correct myself. I just got a note from our stats. He did not win 4 pogs in a row, but they have been on a 5-game winning streak, and he's won a number of pogs. WildTurtle has one of those pogs within these last few games. So I do want to see how this works. I think in general, when Sejuani was a solo laner, it was a good matchup into Jayce, so just playing it mid is completely fine. It's going to be a very difficult champion to gank against. I'm going to do a little solo queue scouting to try and see what the most common builds are for it. It's likely he's just going to be armor stacking because of the team that he's going up against, even though Heart Seal is the most common item in solo queue.
I mean, most of 100 Thieves' damage is not going to be % HP based, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to go Iceborne Gauntlet, though.
Okay, okay.
But we'll see. Maybe he's got some dark tech.
Yeah. Closer is now put in a spot, though, because most of his team's damage is physical. He has to go for the Demonic Embrace, more AP-centric build, because otherwise you are looking at a high econ tank. Anytime a tank is put in a solo lane, you're going to get a little bit more gold, and it's going to be far more difficult for your damage backline to take down in later stages of the game. And the fact that Insanity now gets to move and roam with Bugi, we know that Bugi would like to be more aggressive. And now if you have someone that is like, hey, I'm just playing a tank, I'll shove this wave, and I'll move with you and invade and get you some camps or look for a kill and a summoner spell, I mean, that is Bugi's playhouse.
Might see a fight in River, though.
Closer's just going to throw Sapling. Insanity's for fighting for Prio once again against Quid, and Quid is out of mana, so Quid can't really step up. Closer is going to get the benefit of the Scuttle Crab on the bottom side of the map, though, so Bugi can always just bounce towards the top side.
Ooh, look out, Hauntzer.
Oh, Someday might just win this one. Hauntzer flashing away, but it is the Natofo strike from Someday that clinches his first blood.
What a massive boon for 100 Thieves when they can have an organic advantage on the map like that. Just 1v1 solo kill makes the game so much easier to play for the rest of the team. Closer not only gets the bottom Scuttle Crab because of bot prio, his top laner wins, so he is very happy right now as the jungle Maokai.
Yeah, nice sign of life for 100 Thieves as well, as they've been struggling to really make things happen on the map early on. But in the few wins that 100 Thieves have gotten wins this summer split, it has been because someone gets off to an early lead and then Closer immediately knows, okay, I'm going to hover around you and make sure you continue that snowball.
Yeah, and it looks like he's actually going to be able to get a double Scuttle Crab as well. So really denying Bugi. Double Scuttle Crab as Maokai is just really fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a look at this solo kill one more time, and I feel like this is Hauntzer just not having a good early landing phase. Really, really good Q3 by Someday there as Hauntzer was going in for an overly aggressive trade. Pops his W, gets cut off, and then eventually killed under the turret, but fight bot.
2v2 all in. Busio is in trouble, gets the level 4, so a little bit HP back. Thought that there's going to be more action between WildTurtle and Chime, but they back off once Busio does get the level up here.
And one thing I find really interesting about this particular matchup is if... Well, okay, I'll start with the conclusion, then go to the intro. I think this is a good matchup for 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
So, TSM, as we've talked about before, picks red side in almost every draft, and I'd say they picked up a lot of their wins through good late-game team fighting. They have not blown hardly anyone out in lane, but they've kept up with people just enough in laning phase that they get some good fights later in the game, and they've been kind of eking out these victories.
Sure.
100 Thieves also, as we've talked about before, really, really, really slow early game. Not effective. Often drafts for scaling and often gets overrun by other teams, but they still have a really solid late game AD carry in DoubleLift, a really good team fighting top laner in Someday. So if they don't get blown out, I think they actually have a pretty good chance of winning. So this is one where I think both teams have relatively good scaling on their side, and at least through 6 minutes, 100 Thieves is quite comfortable in this game state. So because TSM is not a strong early game team, I do think, even though we have a 5-9 versus 8-6, this is one of 100 Thieves' better chances to pick up a win.
100 Thieves fans are in your corner right now, Jat. They will take anything you say. It's like, yes, yes. If that is how 100 Thieves win, we need it right now. The 5-9 record, they're not last, but they could be in danger of missing playoffs. And 100 Thieves, much like FlyQuest, much like Immortals, are in desperate need of every single win that they can get. So the first one's on this dragon. Just under 7 minutes. Chime and WildTurtle poking their heads into the river, seeing if they can find vision. Bugi is not quite in range yet, but it's only 1,000 HP. Quid jumps on the Chime. Oh, and it's secured by Closer, but can Closer get out? He has a flash and he walks away, thankfully using the phase rush so that he could have the movement speed to close the distance away. But Insanity's pushing on forward. Bugi, can he get one reset? Oh, but he goes down. DoubleLift gets the last blow, and now TSM are a little far overextended, and they are forced to back off away from 100 Thieves.
TSM wanted that too badly. They saw that 100 Thieves was very slow on the dragon, but Insanity was just not there at the start of the play, and it was, to me, a sunk cost fallacy there where they'd already used too many spells. They had to keep going, and it eventually leads to Bugi dying. I'll have to watch it again to see if it was just a matter of skill shots not landing, but it is a massive play overall for 100 Thieves.
I wonder if it was the bailout that just slowed down TSM and made them unsure about which targets to select, because it seemed like at least one of 100 Thieves members was so close to getting taken down, and that's where Bugi could have looked for resets on the Viego, and the fight could have completely snowballed for TSM. But 100 Thieves, 2 kills to their name, 1.5k gold ahead. They got the first dragon. They could be in first position for this Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, Busio has been first to the spot this entire game when compared with Chime. AD Carry's not involved in this Rift Herald fight, but everybody else is up here.
The only thing that WildTurtle can do is send a Mega Death Rocket and hope that it influences the fight. But 100 Thieves, 4-man strong on the Rift Herald, whereas TSM are struggling to get in. Someday looks for the third Natofa strike, and they just bring Insanity right in for an easy picking. And that's going to be enough to dissuade TSM from entering the pit. That Rift Herald belongs to 100 Thieves.
So far, an absolute macro clinic by 100 Thieves. Take the small advantages and use those to get bigger advantages. That's literally been this whole game from the first Scuttle Crab the closer got. It was because they had bot lane prio. Then they maintained the bot lane prio, got the dragon off of mid lane prio because Insanity was late. They used the kills they got at the dragon to move to Rift Herald where they're there first. They get yet another objective as well as a fight. TSM is trying to contest these things, but they don't have the numbers or position advantage at the start, which is then making the 100 Thieves advantage even bigger.
Right. And the more that they try to contest these, Chime, he has flash to play with, so he should be fine. The crash down is just going to be enough to give him the shield. DoubleLift. I do believe he popped the cleanse so he could look for more damage and just force him out. I don't know if this is going to give him a major advantage for another plate. Looks like he's just going to get a clean reset off.
But look at this, 2,500 gold before 10 minutes. This is unheard of for a 100 Thieves game. They really need a game like this. They are only 1 game ahead of FlyQuest and Immortals for that last place spot in the LCS. It's holding them in 8th. A win here does ridiculous things for them, especially in their head-to-head against FlyQuest. They would be 2 games ahead of them with 3 to play. This is not a must-win, but it is so important for 100 Thieves to take this one for their playoff security.
Yeah, I would have to confirm this, but I think I saw on Twitter, David Shynock was talking about 100 Thieves with FlyQuest's today's loss. 100 Thieves need 2 out of the next 4 games to be a win, so they can guarantee playoffs. I would ask our stats guy to confirm that and make sure that is the case, but you know, if one of those wins comes out today, that relieves a lot of stress going into next week, where it's only 3 games left.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as this game is still in laning phase, 100 Thieves is likely going to be able to hold this advantage. Not much activity is pushing them out of here, right? Like DoubleLift still pretty happy in this lane against WildTurtle. He's got first mythic. He's happy just holding court here. I'd say Quid has actually played quite conservatively because the gank pressure from a Sejuani Viego is so high, so he's been playing generally safe. Oh no.
Quid gets locked down by the Glacial Prison and Bugi is there. Nice knockback from Quid, but there's too much CC unless Bugi goes in with a Heartbreaker. It's finally enough damage, and they can't go in the tower for the reset, but Chime is the one that claims the kill.
I am on a Caster Curse roll, but it had been really good for 100 Thieves before this. A nice roam up by Chime. That's the type of CC lock. That wasn't even a very clean gank. I'd say TSM is just mis-executing a lot of these plays, which is leading to their deficits. But overall, that is where you would want to look if they get those opportunities. And now I think we're thinking about team fighting. They burned 2 ults, 3 ults for that?
Yeah.
This next dragon is pretty uncontestable for TSM.
Be unwise. I've seen stranger things happen, but TSM looks like they are pinned under this tower for now.
Yeah.
Closer can threaten maybe to dive or at least push them off with Nature's Wrath if he wants to go for an early play. Rift Herald is also available. So we're gonna drop it. Spoon feed some more plates into DoubleLift's income and try and just get him even more snowballed. The fact that he has an early Kraken Slayer over WildTurtle already puts him at an advantage in just DPS for team fights. So I imagine, like you said, TSM have no business contesting this dragon.
Yeah, and I had stats tell me just now that if 100 Thieves win this game, they will make playoffs in 97% of remaining scenarios. So very high, which is good for them.
Yep.
I don't really have anything more to add to that. But I will say, when 100 Thieves has won as well, it's often been because DoubleLift is ahead, and when DoubleLift is ahead, they play very comfortably, which is what they look right now. They look comfortable.
Call it a binary strap, but for 100 Thieves, it works. and they will take whatever dubs that they can to ensure that they go into playoffs, gives them more time to continue fine-tuning and polishing a lot of things that they have to work on against the top-level teams as well, as 100 Thieves continuing to put the pressure down on bot lane. WildTurtle and Chime are in a lot of trouble. Bugi is forced to
just hold it. Yeah. Closer just doesn't have to leave. DoubleLift can keep getting plates.
No Nature's Wrath available. Bugi can look for resets, but it's the hostile takeover, not necessarily to engage, but it forces TSM back, and WildTurtle almost takes down his own support, but the Glacial Prison from Teleport forces Busio to use both of his summoner spells to escape danger. And TSM, I mean, they are doing everything they can to hold on to first brick.
It's like a social experiment. Like, if 100 Thieves throws 4 people bot lane, can they just keep 4 people bot lane forever? Because they're definitely going to try and finish this turret. Now there's only 2 people. They might go for Bugi.
It's a lot of time expended. Another teleport is coming in. This time it's Hauntzer. And 100 Thieves, they're just going, man, are they really spending this much just to defend this tower? And TSM, yes, we are. We don't give a damn. And it's now TSM just push back 100 Thieves. So much time invested, no tower gained.
Wow, 2 solo lane teleports in defense of that. Plates do fall, so Someday won't be getting any bonus gold from that teleport being used, but still, I do think that was a very good series of plays by 100 Thieves to just play around DoubleLift. I know it's overly simplistic, I know it's not going to work for everyone, but when you just need wins, he had the item advantage, he has the CS lead, let him just run the show, because the other options haven't been working that well for 100 Thieves.
And Someday and Quid all top of the gold standings at the moment. 100 Thieves, after so much time spent on the bottom side of the map, they're going to shift their position to the top side. The bot lane taking up hold in the mid lane so they can rotate after they get mid prio. Rift Herald started up for 100 Thieves. This is all in the books here for 100 Thieves, as TSM not going to be able to make it on time, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm thinking that 100 Thieves is playing incredibly standard this game, where on objective spawn, they're rotating towards the objective. Closer setting down saplings. He has the Demonic Embrace at the moment, which will just allow them better vision and makes it more difficult for TSM to check. And they're stacking dragons. So that makes me think, how does TSM actually come back in this one? It is very hard, but I'd say with the Sunfire Cape being completed and the plated steel caps for Insanity, this is their slight window where he's going to be an extremely powerful tank. So next Dragon, I think, is where they'd want to combo or find the right fight, or if 100 Thieves oversteps. They might be able to look for something.
Sure.
Otherwise, the game will get out of hand.
Yeah, and it should be enough time that WildTurtle would be at a powerful enough break point. He's still going to be behind DoubleLift, but he can at least still output damage and look for resets, because it's not just Viego, it's a Jinx that can pop off in these fights. No one saw that, right?
Alt got juked. I mean, for what it's worth, Closer was point blank. He pressed the W as Insanity pressed the R.
True.
And he just ducked right under it.
Yep. Nicely done from Closer there, the untargetable part of the Twisted Advance. Next Dragon is coming up in 1 minute and 20 seconds. The Glacial Prison should be coming up by then, and TSM will have it ready and available. As you already mentioned, TSM should be comfortable enough to start taking these fights at that point in time, but if these fights don't going well now for TSM, they're just going to fall way too far behind, and 100 Thieves should have the advantage to close things out.
Yeah, 100 Thieves still playing very standard. There will be about a 25-second gap between Insanity's R cooldown and the Dragon spawning, so the Dragon will be up and he won't have ultimate for about 25 seconds. Someday's holding pressure in top lane. Hauntzer doesn't have TP. This is looking very unlikely that TSM will be able to successfully contest third Dragon.
Now with this tower under pressure, Hauntzer does not want to leave it for far too long. Teleport should be available as well, but Someday is in less of a pressured state. He can always leave and make sure that he is the first one there for the Dragon. Spawning in 20 seconds, Bugi is first here in the river, gets clipped here by the handshake, but no immediate danger, as Closer is not going to be the one that takes him out in one fell swing.
Yeah, so you can see DoubleLift just getting a deep mid push. That allows Closer to move into river and play saplings. DoubleLift will likely clear this wave and then move down into river, and it makes it quite difficult for TSM to find and engage. TSM, if they want to fight, can go through bottom lane, but it's just a very difficult angle for them to approach from. I mean, where Insanity is right now, 100 Thieves would look for something.
Yeah, Chime and WildTurtle have to be careful. There's still no flash from Turtle. Cleanse is available, but if he gets locked out to all eternity, then not having that flash is really going to punish him as they pay respect to 100 Thieves, and now they're the first one onto the Dragon. Chime has a control ward into the pit, maybe looking for a flank.
Sej ult is up, they might try.
3,000 HP on Dragon, 1,600. It is secured by 100 Thieves, and it looks like TSM are not going to go for it. Chime just gets out with the Hextech portal.
Oh, I thought that was a Hex Flash for a second, and it was going to be a fat int, but Bugi, look out!
WildTurtle with the cleanse. Quid, does he want to look for damage? He has the Dust Blade. Oh, it's not enough, but it is enough to force WildTurtle back.
Yeah, it's not enough for a kill, but it's still a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of health he's able to get down with Dusk Blade completed. That should be yet another turret. They're really going to be able to start extending this lead. And TSM just can't get the angles. Like when they have a pick like the Sejuani mid, I'm going to have to stop here. Hauntzer's in trouble. DoubleLift is on the way.
Meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, Chime in a 1v1 with Quid. I don't think he wanted to take that 1v1. Oh, Insanity was teleporting with the Glacial Prison whiffed, and Hauntser's in trouble as well someday alongside DoubleLift in the 2v1. And now Insanity, wow, does he actually just win against Quid? And maybe he does. Insanity has flash. He doesn't want to have to use it. Quid times the flash, but Bugi is there for the follow-up. Can't look for the reset because the teleport is coming in from Someday. And Someday, he doesn't have ultimate anymore. He's going to look for Bugi. WildTurtle's here for assistance. This is quite tanky from Someday as Bugi now gets to walk out. No danger there for TSM.
Okay, Someday's playing a great game.
Yeah.
And the lead is continually extending. That play took so many resources for TSM down bottom that DoubleLift has just been able to free hit these turrets. But TSM is definitely in fight mode right now. Try and get any gold they can.
This is practically two tanks fighting against Busio and DoubleLift, but they're super squishy that the base damage from Insanity and Chime might be enough, and Hauntzer has teleported in, and this should even the odds. Nice hostile takeover, buy some time. Can DoubleLift clean up here? Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide. It's not enough damage from TSM quite yet. DoubleLift cleans up to Insanity. DoubleLift is popping up. He flashes away the Thunderstorm. He's still alive. He even had the bailout on top of it for insurance policy, but he doesn't even need it. 100 Thieves spring to life in the game that they needed him most. They clean up WildTurtle as he's got nowhere to run. The sapling might just be the ender, but it's Quid with the hammer! Triple for Quid! And 100 Thieves break into the base of TSM.
Wow, only 20 minutes into the game, 12,000 gold lead. That play, I understand the move from TSM, but they are just so far behind, and DoubleLift with his mythic completed can just pump this damage. Busio blocks the original engage. Even though they get so much onto DoubleLift, DoubleLift doesn't even have mana, but he just has a lot of items. Perfect bailout, gets the revive, then that gives him enough mana with the kills. I believe that would be Presence of Mind resets coming through to fill him up. They completely run the table on TSM.
I am absolutely floored.
Yeah, Presence of Mind resets for the mana for DoubleLift.
100 Thieves, man. I mean, yesterday was so tough. Cloud9 completely rolled them. The game on Wednesday as well completely rolled as well. But 100 Thieves, last game of the week, finally bouncing back against what seemed like a TSM that was in the position for 3-0 week. This is now a commanding 11,000 gold lead. 100 Thieves have everything they need to close out this game.
We'll see right now. TSM going for another one.
Engaging onto Bugi, forced to use the Heartbreak, but he's got nowhere to run. Quid is just taking names on this rift. Looks for Chime, looks for Insanity. DoubleLift cleans up that one. 3 members gone for TSM means it's a free Baron for 100 Thieves.
It is looking more and more certain that TSM's 5-game win streak will be coming to an end here. Quid with his, weirdly enough, second great Jayce game against TSM. The first Jayce game he had against TSM was when Ruby was in. Now he's popping off against Insanity. So many Shock Blasts finding their home. And at this point, usually when I'm trying to rate performance in a game, things that happen once the gold lead is beyond 10,000, the game's decided.
Yeah.
Right? It's really all about whether or not the team can execute the close. And you can see Bugi thought maybe they'll get Jayce. They have been trying to pick on Quid with the Sejuani Viego combo, but just everybody was there, so that play's not gonna work, and they go for Bugi again.
And he's gone again. Hauntzer is dead again someday. is actually having some difficulty taking him down as he goes into the mist, and Hauntzer buys a little bit of time, but not enough time for 100 Thieves before they walk into the base of TSM. Quid already pushing in through the mid lane, 3 strong on the bottom side, and a teleport coming in as well from Someday will be aiding the charge as TSM now forced to defend only with 2 members left, or 3, I should say.
Yeah, they don't have that many minions, and the death timers are short, but they are just racking up money.
Chime is deep in the jungle. Is he hoping for a miracle flank once all of TSM is up? I mean, that is bold.
Yeah, may as well. Hauntzer doesn't have TP, but I respect it.
I mean, if you got nothing else left, it is a 16,000 gold lead. You might as well try for it. No vision on Chime from 100 Thieves' side. It would be quite the miracle flank if they can pull it off. Remember, Bugi and WildTurtle have to be the ones that reset here. Insanity goes gold and 4-man Magnustorm from Chime. Do they have the damage here? Can WildTurtle look for the reset? But it's TSM that are falling to pieces. 100 Thieves just clean them up easily. No one goes down. DoubleLift was blinking on HP, but it's Quid that picks up the quadra kill for 100 Thieves. And that's going to be a sign of life for them as they take this win against TSM.
Is this the beginning of the 100 Thieves late split scaling? It didn't happen yesterday with the closer Lee Sin, but is the secret the closer Maokai? I think more so this team just gets more time together. They are still alive. They absolutely make quick work of TSM, who was considerably above them in the standings. This also moves 100 Thieves to 97% of remaining scenarios, clinching them a playoff berth. So they are much more comfortable going into the final week of the regular